Good morning, my name's Annie Perry, and for the next half hour I'm taking over the We Are Fit and Well Insta page, so thank you so much for coming along to watch. So I am just going to turn off the comments, only because it's not because I don't want to hear from you, it's just because sometimes it can make it difficult for you to see the workout, okay? Well, it's not a workout today, it's yoga. So I'm going to come back onto my mat and have a wee chat with you. So, like I said, my name is Annie Perry and I am a Yoga Bellies teacher. So at Yoga Bellies we teach yoga for pregnancy, postnatal, for women and for fertility, so if you're trying to conceive. But I presume if you're here today it's because you are pregnant, so many congratulations for that. I hope you're keeping well, and hats off because you're pregnant during a pandemic. So you're doing amazing and you're a warrior just for that alone. So for the next half hour, this might be a little bit different to the other lives you maybe mostly see on this page, a lot of workouts and everything, and obviously this yoga is not a workout. Yoga is, let's get it off, it's a spiritual practice really, so all that means is that we are going for the next half hour to bring ourselves completely into the present moment. That's all we have, and that's what we're going to do. So that's truly the heart of yoga. It's coming into the present moment, moving your body in a moving meditation. Okay, so yoga and pregnancy, in my opinion, is a match made in heaven. It allows you to tune in to your ever-changing body. Your body is changing every single day, as is your little baby. So what you're going to do is use this half hour to just check in with your body, check in with what your body needs at this moment in time, and check in with your baby as well. So all the yoga postures, all the asana, we call them asana in yoga, are completely safe for pregnancy. That being said, please listen to your body and listen to what your body's telling you. If something doesn't quite feel right, it's maybe not meant for you today. Maybe your baby doesn't like it because there's such a massive change going on in your body just now. There's a cocktail of hormones working so hard to adjust your body to your growing baby, to help grow your baby, and one of them is called relaxin, and it is a hormone that's released in pregnancy, and it allows you to oh, I think my headphones have just gone off. We'll just have to use the mic from the phone. Hope that's alright. I don't know why. Relaxing. So what I want you to do is, what relaxing does is it adjusts your body to this growing baby in your body, and what it ultimately will do is help you birth your baby. So what it does is it softens the ligaments and the joints of the body, so it allows your body to adjust and move your baby. But that means when you work out and when you do yoga, you might feel you can stretch and go deeper a little more than you used to before pregnancy, but you need to be careful of that, okay? So maybe you have to dial it back, okay? What else did I want to say before we started? However, that being said, dialing things back, it can be frustrating. Sometimes your head thinks it wants to do something, but you have to listen to your body. But it is important not to be sedentary in pregnancy. It is very important because we want the pelvis to be really soft and supple and active, because ultimately one day, it might be in the near future for you if you're pregnant, it might be way in the future, you have to birth your baby, and you want to do that as easeful and with as minimal discomfort and as joyfully as you can. So that is where yoga comes in. It is brilliant for preparing for birth, and that's what we're going to help you do today. Okay, so we're just going to do a short practice, so 30 minutes. I just realised I've forgotten my watch. That's not going to help, is it? I'll just judge it. So we're going to do a 30-minute practice. We're going to just do a quick opening meditation, just breathing our way into the day, and then we're going to do some yoga postures, okay? I think that's it. We're going to get started, okay? So how I want you to begin is in Sukhasana, which is easy pose, which is essentially cross-legged, okay? So you're coming into a cross-legged position. So not drawing the feet too tight into the body. When you look down, maybe you've got a big bump and you can't see, but you want to see a bit of the mat, a bit of ground underneath, okay? So Sukhasana is great for lengthening the spine, getting a real sense of grounding into the body, okay? So we are going to come into Sukhasana, crossing the legs, just tucking one foot under one calf, one foot under the other. Bring your hands just onto your knees gently and focus on your sit bones that are connected down into the mat, okay? So the sit bones are connected down. You're lifting and lengthening through your spine, opening up through the chest, rolling the shoulders. Perhaps they need a wee roll up so that we can then draw them down, okay? So focus on a really straight spine here. And then the next thing I want you to do is focus on the breath, okay? So this is a really important part of yoga, breath work, okay? So we breathe in and out through the nose in yoga. So that's what we're going to do now. I'm not asking you to do anything with the breath yet. I want you to notice how the breath feels in the body. So maybe you do feel a little anxious and you're a wee bit stressed in the breath, therefore sitting quite shallow, quite high up in the chest. You want to just notice that without any sense of judgment. And then we do want to bring the breath a little deeper into the body, okay? So we want to bring the breath to more of a deep belly breath. And as I said, you're going to use this session to connect with your baby. So what we want to do is we want to take the hands and you want to place them onto the belly and onto the baby, onto your baby. And I want you to really draw the breath deep down into the belly. We're doing deep belly breaths and we want to feel the breath deep in the belly. I'm just going to turn my ringer off. If I can. Breathing deeply. So now, how does that feel? Do you feel that your body is grounding? Do you feel that this deep breath is allowing you to connect down with your baby? Okay, just say to yourself that this is your time, just you and baby, time for you both to move together. Okay? So you can open your eyes. Did I tell you to open your eyes? Well, I wanted you to close your eyes, but I might have forgotten. So if your eyes are closed, let's open them up, okay? So we want to keep and maintain that deep belly, that deep breath moving in and out through the body. And it is a really good way of focusing you into the meditation, okay? So sometimes, your mind will wander. It's just the way of it. But the breath can help anchor you back to the practice, okay? So now let's take the hands back off your little baby, back onto your knees, and we're just simply going to begin with some neck rolls. So you're going to take your chin down onto your chest and you're going to roll your neck from side to side. Okay, just focusing in on the neck and all those little pops and cracks and ligaments. And you can begin to roll your head round in full circles if you want to do that too. And go the other way. So usually in a Yoga Bellies pregnancy yoga class, we would spend a lot longer on your breath than we've just done, because we practice very special breathing techniques that help prepare you for birth. Okay, let's just drop those circles, and we're going to do some shoulder shrug circles, so bringing the shoulders up and rolling them round. So yeah, we spend a lot of time, the breath is really powerful for your pregnancy, and it's really powerful for your birth. So throughout this practice, I am going to mention your birth, I'm sorry to say, quite a few times, and I don't make any apologies for that, because at Yoga Bellies we want you, go forward with your circles, we want you to look forward to your birth with positive expectations. And I do realise that sometimes that's a quite alien concept, that we should look forward to birth, but Yoga Bellies teachers have a really unique way of getting you on board with that, okay? So now we're just going to do some quick side stretches either side. So we're still doing that rootedness with our Sukhasana, with the sit bones rooted, the spine lengthened, but what we need to do is just pop your legs a different way, because see all those little ways that we favour a side of the body? Your hips, remember that, so we want to have both sides of the hips nice and equal, alright? So just subtle, but just change your legs, okay? Hands, so we're just going to take the left hand over onto your mat if you're sitting on a mat. The right hand up and over, and just reaching over. So I don't want you to be lifting your right sit bone up off the mat at all. I want you to keep that nice and rooted, okay? And that helps with this opening up of the ribs, which can get really, really bunched up in pregnancy. I don't know what stage you all are at pregnancy, watching now or watching later, but believe you me, as your baby gets bigger, it steals a lot of space off you, up into your ribs. Go over to the other side if you haven't copied me already. Keep your breath moving in and out. Okay, back into centre. Now we're just going to move, we're going to roll over these cross-legged into a tabletop position, okay? So all we do is get a little bit of momentum. If you can't do this, that's fine. Rolling over, and we come to tabletop position, alright? So we're going to bring our hands directly underneath the shoulders. Check in with your knees, make sure they're directly underneath the hips. So a very common posture if you do yoga is cat and cow flow. And it's really, really lovely for your back, but just in pregnancy we leave out the cow part, okay? We just do the cat curl up, okay? So what we're going to do is, instead of dipping down with the navel, which really does bring too much into the ligaments either side of your little baby, all you're going to do is on the inhale just simply gaze forward. It does allow you to give that nice openness into the chest, shoulders down, and then on your lovely strong exhale you're going to curl up with the spine into the cat curl. Tuck the chin towards the chest, draw your baby a little gentle hug up to the spine, and then back to your neutral and your gaze forward on your inhale. So let's get with that flow and connect it to the breath. So keep going, and this is so nice for tuning into the spine. You want your spine will have a lot of pressure on it as your baby gets bigger, okay? A lot of women feel it at the bra line, a lot of women feel it at the pelvis. So this posture really helps to open up the space in between the vertebrae and release that tension. Okay, so let's do one more cat curl, and then let's make it into what's called a rolling cat curl. So for that, the next time you curl up into your cat curl and draw your baby up, you're just going to take your bum down onto your heels like a kind of child's pose. Hands are still away out in front. Then you inhale and you swoop along the mat, and then curl up again and back down onto the heels. So you can see you make it into what is called rolling Bidalasana. So sorry, my phone is still pinging, and if I take it off the stand, then no one will be able, then I'll never be able to get it back on with the camera angle. So sorry about those pinging, not what we need for a little Zen practice. Okay, so a few more of your rolling cat cuddles. Keep your breath moving. Okay, and then down, bum onto heels, and let's just come to child's pose. Now usually with child's pose, knees would be about hip width. In pregnancy, we just take them a little bit wider, making that little pocket for your baby, and then hands out in front. So this is extended child's pose, extended balasana. And breathe there for a couple of breaths. I'll just do a little quick time check. Breathe, oh my goodness, it flies, doesn't it? Breathing there, ladies, and then walk your hands back so that you're just sitting on your heels, and then we're going to get moving a little bit more from standing, okay? So we're literally going to do that via a Uttanasana, standing forward fold, okay? So this is really good for the pelvis, okay? We're going to start talking to you a little bit more about your pelvis. So just tuck your toes under and push away from the knees and just fold over. Now, your legs need to be a little bit wider if your bump's a little bit bigger. But just a nice soft forward fold, okay? Nothing too extreme. You're just hanging out. In fact, it's more like a rag doll. You're just opening up the backs of the thighs. It's early in the morning. We've all just woken up, so we need to open up the backs of the thighs, open up the pelvis and the back. And then we're just going to uncuddle the spine really, really gradually so that we're standing. Okay, so a few standing postures now for you to get you moving, and there's sun salutations. Okay, so if you did yoga before you were pregnant, you'll be really used to sun salutations. Don't worry if you haven't. But the sun salutations in pregnancy do need to be adapted, obviously, because there's planks, isn't there, in a sun salute, and we don't want planks. We want to keep things very gentle through the core muscles and all these ligaments that are supporting your womb and supporting your baby. So I'll talk you through the sun salutes, okay? So if you are on a mat, you sort of come up towards the front of the mat, okay? And you come into a position called Tadasana, or mountain pose. Now this is essential, it isn't just standing, right, but it is standing pose, okay? But it's really good for helping you tune in to what's happening in the pelvis, in the back, okay? So you're going to just bring your feet to wherever feels like your centre of gravity, okay? So every day in pregnancy, your centre of gravity will change. So it may mean that before, when you were pushing down at hip width, you're not feeling very grounded, and that's just your pelvis shifting. So you may need to come a little wider, and that's fine. Lift your toes, spread them, and push them down, okay? Then sort of engage your legs, engage your pelvic floor, and then draw your attention to your pelvis. So checking out what's going on there. Is baby getting bigger and starting to pull your pelvis and tilt it? Or are you aware of that and are you overcompensating? We want a nice, neutral pelvis, okay? So just try and get that sense of the pelvis being nice and neutral. Hands down by your side. So feel that sense of grounding through the feet. Hands are just, palms are facing in towards the thighs, and your chest is open and your shoulders are down. Okay, we're going to come into an upward salute to begin the sun salutation. So inhale, lift the hands up above the head, hands into a beautiful prayer position, and take your gaze up to look at those thumbs. Then we're going to come to forward fold, but we're going to stop halfway. We're going to bring a big bend into the knees. We're going to bring the elbows onto the knees. So essentially it's like a half forward fold. So we're gazing forward, baby's just snuggled in between your thighs. Then you're going to take a nice inhale, and then as you exhale, you're going to come into standing forward fold, okay? So this is where we aim to straighten the legs ever so more than we were before. Don't worry about locking the knees. We want to be gazing between the legs with the head hanging. There's no tension in the shoulders or the neck. Okay, then instead, this is where we would move to plank, but we're not going to. We're going to drop ourselves down to table and just do a few more of those cat cuddles that I showed you before. So instead of like 5 breaths in plank, we spend 5 breaths working through the spine in the cat cuddles. Okay? Next, we are going to be moving to downward facing dog. Okay, so a few more cat cuddles. I'm just warning you what's coming next, okay? Not warning you, telling you what's coming next. So fingers are going to be, look at your hands and make sure that the hands are spread. They're really, the middle fingers pointing like 12 o'clock. We're going to tuck the toes under now from this neutral spine. And we're going to push away from the hands. So you're going to take your shoulders and move them away and lift the knees and lift the hips up. Now, we're maybe a little bit close with our feet to our hands. So we're going to take a little step back. It is important that we are not stacked with our weight above our wrists, okay? That's not what we want. We want to move that away. We want to gaze at our baby. We want to open up with the sit bones. So we really are opening the pelvis here. Don't worry about straight legs, okay? Keep a bounce in them for now. It's nice to open the spine rather than have lovely straight legs but a very crooked spine. And breathe, remember to breathe in your down dog. Okay, so your option, we're going to stand and forward fold. Your options are to begin walking your feet up to your hands or dropping down with the knees and taking the hands up to the feet from there. Okay, whatever feels good, but we're walking the feet back up to the front of the mat. We're in standing forward fold. Then we're just going to bring the hands onto the knees and gaze forward. So we're lifting the body like you're a number 7. Straightening the legs. Folding down again. Just into a ragdoll. Big soften of the knees. Big, slow, steady uncurling of the spine. Lifting up. Hands to prayer. And then down. Through the centre line of the body, and we finish with our hands over our heart. Samastiti here. Okay, I'm just doing a wee time check because I had in my mind where we're going to do 3 of them, but we're not. Clearly I'm not very good at estimating time, so we're just going to do 1. So then we're going to do some other standing poses, okay? But that, it gives you an idea. Try and remember that sun salute. It's a really nice way to start your day. Getting you energised and getting to move your body, okay? So, I want to do a balancing pose, Vrikasana, or tree pose it's called, because balances are really good for focusing the mind, because if your mind's whirling with thoughts of pregnancy, with thoughts of work, stress, standing in a balance is a surefire way to get you to just focus on the present moment, which again, remember I said that's what yoga is all about. So we're going to come into tree pose, alright? So, what we're going to do is, we're going to just shift our, so we'll start with the right foot as being our kind of, imagine that tree trunk, okay? So that we're going to sort of shift the weight on there, but remember what I was telling you about your neutral pelvis. I want to keep that, okay? We don't want things popping out and, you know, we want a neutral pelvis, okay? So we're shifting the weight into the right foot and just sort of take the weight out of the left. Now I should say as well, you can have a wee chair at hand or you can do this against the wall if you don't feel particularly balanced, which believe you me, I feel like that a lot, many days myself, okay? So we're just rooting down, but then we're not popping ourselves out because we've rooted in, remember, neutral pelvis. Okay, so there's a bend in our left knee now, and we're then going to imagine that left knee is like a gate opening, okay? So opening up the gate, okay? So then, can you feel how that is really, even just the act of moving that knee back is opening your pelvis, it's giving it a squeeze together at the back, isn't it? That's what we're going for, okay? So then, just give yourself a minute to root down, breathe, and you can go a little more, okay? So you can take the foot onto your calf, or you can take your foot onto your thigh. Don't put it on your knee, okay? That's the only option that isn't allowed. Just because, right, this is hard to do when you're talking, just because your knee joint, you don't want to push against it, okay? So then hands, Anjali Mudra, into prayer position over your heart space. Choose a little point to gaze at, and breathe. Okay, we would spend longer, but we're just going to demonstrate. So let's come down at this side, but we have to do it on the other side. We have to keep that sense of balance in the body. What we do to one side, we do to the other. So now the left foot roots down. And do you know what? Some days, if you just aren't feeling like lifting your foot at all off the mat, just focus on that opening of the knee joint, that lovely neutral pelvis, that stretch in the pelvis, and just breathe there, you know, or maybe you did thigh one side and you're just doing calf this side. It's fine. Just breathe away. Okay, feet down. Okay, next position is called Malasana, which is a goddess squat. How good's that name? So squatting. I cannot teach this. I couldn't do postures for pregnancy without adding a squat. And squats are your complete best friend for preparing for birth and keeping the pelvis in real tip-top condition, okay? So this is fantastic for preparing, especially see if you're getting towards the end of your pregnancy and you need baby to be moving down, to be encouraged to move down. They're brilliant. So I've taken my feet a little, much wider than hip width, and my feet are 45 degrees, okay? So we're going to push down with the feet. You're not going to be taking your tail away out. You're going to be keeping it quite tucked under, the hips quite neutral. You're going to bring your hands to prayer position, taking an inhale, and then bending your knees down on the exhale. So just come down wherever it feels good for you. Now you can go into quite a passive squat where you're really working your pelvis but not so much the thighs, and that's right down here, but it's really good for opening the pelvis. Or you can go into one that strengthens the thighs a little more, which can be really good for preparing for labour, especially if you do want to squat in labour. And then we're just going to do a nice flow side to side. So left hand onto left knee, reaching up and over. Inhale and exhale over the other side. Keep going side to side. Back into centre, hands to prayer, lifting up. Give your legs a little shake. So just want to say as well that one's really good for opening the pelvic inlet, so the top of the pelvis. Feel your little bones there for baby to drop down. Not so much for the outlet, so during birth and maybe wouldn't be taking my knees massively wide like that. You can still squat, but coming a little bit more hen-toed with the knees coming in. You'll feel much more of a difference in the pelvic outlet where baby's coming out. Okay, what have we got time for? Let me do a quick time check here. Okay, already half past, but I did talk quite a lot, so we want to do just a couple more postures for you, okay? So let's come to the floor. So usually I would spend a lot more time on standing postures in a class, okay? We would do much more sun salutes. We would do much more standing postures to build strength in your body, to build stamina. And then we would move to do some seated postures. So that's what we'll do now, okay? We'll move to some seated postures, okay? So we're coming into Baddha Konasana, which is a seated posture that again focuses on your pelvis, okay? So we're going to bring ourselves, instead of cross-legged, we're going to bring ourselves so that our feet, our soles of our feet are together, alright? Then we're going to draw our heels in towards the pelvis. Now the closer the heels come in, the more work you're going to do into your pelvis. That doesn't mean that's for everybody. If that doesn't feel good for you, a more gentle way of doing it is heels away out and just more of a gentle butterfly. But if you want to really open and stretch your pelvis, then we're going to bring our heels in. Okay, hands either just making a basket with them, popping the feet in, or just gently holding your ankles, whatever feels good. We want to feel rooted and grounded on both sides, so our sit bones are really connected down equally. We're also lifting, so we're lifting up with the hips, we're straightening up with the spine, we're opening the chest, shoulders are down, and then we're taking our knees towards the floor, and that's where the magic happens, okay? Taking the knees towards the floor. Now your feet might start to open like a book, and that's okay. Can sort of help that. The hinge of the knees moving to the floor is where we're going to open up with the pelvis, okay? Toning the pelvis. But you know what this is also beautiful for is opening the heart space. In Chinese medicine, they really believe the heart to womb meridian is so important for fertility, and it is. But when you're pregnant, opening up the heart, just feeling all that love that is in your heart for your baby, feel it building up with beautiful deep breaths into the heart, and then send it down into your womb towards your baby. Okay, so let's maybe not go quite as deep now. Let's just take that pushing down with the knees and just gently bring the knees. And what we're going to add is a little twist. Now, a lot of people think twists are off in pregnancy, and a lot are. You wouldn't be doing deep twists, core twists, deep abdominal twists. Absolutely not. But what we can do is gentle open twists, and Baddha Konasana is a lovely way to do one. So all we do is we gently place our right hand or our right arm onto our right knee. We bring our left hand just to the base of the spine, so bring it to the base of the spine. Focus on lengthening and lifting the spine, and then gaze over the left shoulder. And you're not twisting through your abdomen here. Just see it as a nice gentle twist for the top of the back. So like the bra line is a good kind of indication of where to do that from. Just gaze over. It is gentle, but it is really nourishing for the spine. Back round to the front and gaze over to the other side. Back round to the front. Before I end, I want to do one more posture, which is a forward fold, okay? It's called head to knee pose, and we're going to essentially keep our right leg exactly the way it is, and we're going to take the left leg straight out in front. And then we're going to take our right foot and pop it onto our left thigh. Forward folds and seated forward folds are really, really good, but they are much more difficult in pregnancy. There's no question, your bump gets in the way. But they're really, really good for these ligaments that go into the pelvis, so that you really don't skip them out, okay, because they are really, really good. I'm just reaching for this. They're really, really good for working and stretching up from the hamstrings, but more importantly into those ligaments that go into the pelvis. A way to help you out with them if your bump's getting big is a strap. Now this is a yoga strap, I don't expect you to have a yoga strap, but you know what works really, really well? Get a tea towel lengthwise and just roll it up and then pop that round your foot. So you would pop the tea towel, I should have brought a tea towel, shouldn't I, instead of a yoga strap. But this is a nice way to help you stretch the muscles at the back of the legs, but not, you know, your bump's going to get in the way, okay? So both sit bones nice and engaged. Don't worry if you don't have anything at hand, okay? I'll just drop that, okay? Sit bones engaged, lift and lengthen the spine. If you don't have a strap, lift the hands up, which helps you lift the spine, lift you up and out of the hips, and then just gently melt forward. Do not worry where your hand is getting to, okay? See if it's away up on the thigh, but you're still really keeping the spine straight, chest open, and you're just enjoying the stretch, then hey ho, that's the way it is, okay? It's just your practice, it's you on your mat. Okay, so if you do have good flexion and you do want to move deeper, you want to be taking like your chin beyond your knee, okay? And you want to be keeping your spine quite straight. There's a big pocket for baby with this, with your right knee bent, which is nice. Okay, I would spend longer, but we'll just do the other side just as a demonstration. But I would normally spend maybe about 10 deep breaths there. But we'll just switch to the other side. We'll inhale and lift. We will exhale and fold forward. Okay, so that was 10 breaths. So I am aware I need to finish up. I could go on for ages more. I would love to, but only half an hour I was meant to do. I just want to mention that at the end of a yoga practice, a shavasana, a relaxation is so important. Okay, so if you've got a wee 10 minutes now after I log off, please try and do one. Try and lie gently and just breathe and relax for about 10 minutes, okay? Just a note, I'm just going to demonstrate the way you should lie in pregnancy in Savasana. So usually if you're not pregnant, you lie flat on your back, hands out to the side, feet a little bit wider, and you're on your back. But we don't do that in pregnancy. Even if you're in early pregnancy, get into the habit of lying on your left, okay? So you would get yourself as comfortable as possible lying on your left hand side. So you would just come onto the floor, you would have some pillows under your head, a pillow under your knee, and that's where you would breathe, okay? So if you've got a wee 10 minutes, try and do that now. Try and just breathe and finish off your practice, okay? I just want to mention that if you are pregnant and you want to attend a weekly yoga class, it will be online just now, like all Yoga Bellies teachers are. Please make sure you're attending a yoga class with someone who's trained in pregnancy, alright? Really, really, really important. There's Yoga Bellies teachers teaching all over the country just now, live, online, really interactive, helping with your birth preparation, your breathing, really. So go onto the Yoga Bellies website, which is yogabellies.com, and find a teacher that way. There's other really good pregnancy teachers out there as well, okay? I just want to end with a birth affirmation for you before I log off. Positive affirmations are so powerful in your life, okay? So I'm just going to choose one at random from my deck to help you. Oh, there's a nice one. I embrace the gift of motherhood, and it is a massive gift. You truly have a miracle growing inside you. So again, so many congratulations. I hope you enjoyed that whistle stop pregnancy session. Usually they're much longer, as I said, but I'm bringing my hands to prayer position and I'm bowing to you and saying namaste, which means the divine light in me honours the divine light in you. Okay? Take care and thank you so much for joining me.